And we're back with another episode of What's Hockey. Keaton, as we always do, we're going around that hockey. Why don't you let us
Pretty
know
much
what's
every
been
time.
going on?
We got a few trades happening. We've got I don't know, 6 or 7 teams doing stuff. We got Ryan Lindgren and Jimmy Vesey headed to Colorado for Juuso Parssinen, and Calvin DeHaan going to New York, the Rangers, not the Islanders. But yeah, I don't know who any of those guys are, but I hope they make an immediate impact on their respective teams.
Yeah, I know Lindgren's being brought into Colorado to help on the defensive side. Apparently,
Nice, dude.
And this is based on the few YouTube videos I watched about the trade, but essentially that Lindgren's this veteran who is not afraid to get in front of pucks. He plays games banged
He's not
up.
afraid.
He's just not afraid, and so it's a defensive help for them.
Nice, dog.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I hope they do well on their respective teams.
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't want them to do too well in Colorado because it's always fuck Colorado over here, but yeah.
Classic, this guy. Gustav Nyquist is now a Wild, or a member of the Wild team. No longer a Pred. They got shipped off. I believe it was the second rounder in next year's draft. So,
yeah,
pretty solid.
Essentially,
isn't the worst player. Isn't the best player.
Yeah, for sure. In those same YouTube videos, doing some research on some of these players that, just like you, I hadn't really heard of. They were saying that Gustav Nyquist, he was actually traded to the Minnesota Wild a few years ago for a 5th-round pick, and now he's worth a second. They were saying that this season, or maybe it was last season, or a combination of two, that
it was like fine wine.
Yeah, man. Well, they're saying his numbers look way better. He's at career highs and stuff like that. So, he's peaking at the right time.
Probably had a better team around him.
I don't think that's all that it is. From a 5th to a second, that's not just based on the people around.
No, I know. I'm just saying that, if you pass it to some guy and he, sucks at shooting, you're not going to get an assist.
Well, I know we're going to talk about this trade in a second, but Seth Jones was on a horrendous team, and his value was still there. But as far as Nyquist, essentially, Minnesota's obviously making a push for the playoffs, so bringing in another...
I think Nyquist is up there in age, at least 30, so...
I think I saw 31.
Pushing for some sort of contention, try to get a Stanley Cup at some point. It is pretty awkward, though. I did look at the standings, and Minnesota has a negative differential currently.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild because they're third in their respective division.
Did you say that's pretty wild?
Yeah, it is pretty wild. It's what they are, what they do. I don't understand it. I know the Red Wings have a pretty horrific differential, but we did have a month and a half with that penguin-looking motherfucker. But, we kind of turned it around in a way, but these last few games kind of suck. But either way, we mentioned, Seth Jones goes to Florida. He's going to a contender. On his way out, unfortunately, has bad-mouthed the Blackhawks, which, kind of makes sense. They haven't really done anything in the last... Well, he basically said it's nice to have a change of scenery because the last 5 years were something else.
All right, I thought
it was it was a pretty rough 5 years or something like that. I don't know exactly what he said, but for the most part, dissed the Blackhawks. But Spencer Knight on his way in ends up debuting on Monday, I believe, against the Kings, and makes 41 out of 42 saves, and they end up winning that game 5-1. So pretty solid. So Seth Jones goes to Florida with a 4th rounder, and Chicago gets a 1st rounder, and Spencer Knight, like I mentioned. So
it
was pretty nice, and I believe they take on Seth Jones, I think $2.5 million over his salary or whatever. So
I was
they
pretty
retain
sure,
like 25%, I think, total. Either way.
and it's for the length. It's for like the full duration of his current contract, right?
Yeah,
It's
not
pretty wild.
100% sure if it's like, each year they're taking out that much money or it's that much money divided into those that many years. But either
Okay.
way,
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, he's gonna. I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely
on
unlike
a
our last
contender.
few trades. He's not super old. He's gonna be there for years. And it did cost him a
Oh yeah,
first,
he's definitely
which
pretty solid.
yeah, I know. Like the teams that he would have been traded to or that he had interest. One of them was Dallas. I know Dallas was not going to
He only
offer a
had
first.
two. He opened his clause for two teams, and it was the Stars or the Panthers.
Yeah,
And
and I knew we
the
weren't going to
Stars
give
didn't
up.
have interest, so they
Yeah,
went with the Panthers.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's pretty solid on both ends because I mean, Blackhawks now have a pretty solid goalie that seems to be, uh, pretty solid because 41
Nice.
out of 42 saves against a solid Kings team. It's
Yeah, the Kings
not
have a lot
anything
of
to wave your nose away.
as much as we tend to like crap on the Kings. I mean, they've got a lot of attackers on that team, man. Like going from Byfield, Kempe, Lafreniere, or
In the past 2 years, they've been
Lafreniere.
consistently second in their division or third,
Yeah, their
around
issue
that.
it tends to be like the other end of the ice, their defensive side. But yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
a pretty impressive stand for the goalie on his debut.
solid. Yeah,
Nice man.
and I will say that the Panthers definitely free up some space with Matthew Kachuk. He heads to long-term IR, so his cap has been waived. And that's probably how they're able to sign Seth Jones pretty easily, or at least, take on that cap space. So yeah, he's pulling a Mark Stone. So we'll see what happens by the time playoffs happen.
Yeah.
It is kind of wild though, because he sustained that injury over the Four Nations break, and they suited him up on that last game for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Hasn't
No.
played since, and they took a roster spot from like Kyle Connor or somebody else in
Yeah,
that
they
game.
definitely should
And I
have
mean,
been sitting Kachuk for that one. I know if they ask the player, he's always going to want to play. At that point, it's up to like the medical staff and the coaches. But yeah,
yeah, and I mean, it's not like he's gonna do anything when he's broken. I don't know.
yeah, no,
And I don't know how severe it is, but I mean, long term IR and won't be expected back until the playoffs. That's, a good month and a half.
yeah, man.
So, I don't know. Either way, definitely some weird happenstancing. But Capitals make an internal signing and get Charlie Lindgren to a 3-year, $9 million total contract. So shores up the next few years for their goaltending questions. He would have been a free agent after this year. So, just keep him along. And I mean, he's playing pretty solid. And with Logan Thompson as well, they just want to make sure that they've got guys they can trust. And as of right now, that they are it.
Yeah, I was
So
looking at his last few games. His last few games, there were like 3 goals allowed, 4 goals allowed. But just looking at a stat sheet doesn't tell you all that happened in front of the net and what he couldn't have done. But I mean, if they're re-signing him, and how many years was that again?
just three.
Just 3. I mean, and he's a veteran player,
Three
so I
for
mean,
$3 million a year.
there's definitely some trust that they've built up with him there. So yeah, no,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, the beginning of the season, I honestly thought he played pretty well. So yeah,
yeah for sure.
and definitely have their goalies because I mean they re-signed Logan Thompson not too long ago. I think within maybe a month and a half. But yeah, like I said, just showing up that question mark just in case. I guess have to move on. I mean, the Capitals seem to be a pretty solid team all over, but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I
Hey,
had a
what?
rough game against Ottawa. They ended up winning, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you what you make of the Jack Hughes injury.
It's pretty crazy. I don't know. I saw some pictures. It's kind of hard to, I guess, determine just because he's got a bunch of gear on. You can't really see exactly where things are, but it looks like his shoulder's pretty loose. Ends up taking a nasty trip and fall and slide into the boards. So
Dude, at
not
like
too
full
great.
speed, that like the
Yeah.
impact of going like that fast and then immediate
And he like
stop on
had
the
his
wall.
arm. It was not the best
Yeah.
position.
No,
So
it looked
yeah,
really
definitely.
rough actually.
Yeah, and I saw something where Luke and Jack were like in the locker room together talking about the injury, and Luke uh, didn't look like he like got good news at all. So I mean, it seems like he's going to be out for quite some time. I don't know. Definitely some
That's a
speculation
big
there
loss,
because
man, for the
who
Devils.
knows? But yeah, I definitely is going to open up that trade question mark as well. Because I mean, with the Devils doing as well as they are, I mean, they definitely want to make sure that that loss isn't gone with some sort of patching. I guess
Yeah, and I
I don't
mean,
know.
looking at that playoff picture with like the Metropolitan being as tight as it is, the wild card race being as tight as it is, losing Hughes
They could
like
slip and
that, and
fall.
again, I mean, maybe it just looks worse than what it is, but it looked pretty dang rough. That it was. It was a hard impact and immediate stop. Like there was no give anywhere, obviously, like into the wall like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, that could really impact the Devils' chances going forward and into the playoffs.
pretty rough stuff, man.
Pretty rough
But
stuff.
on the other side, we definitely have Oli Mata re-signing with Utah Hockey Club, getting some extra time in Utah. Apparently, there are reports that he has made an impact immediately to the locker room with both, some sort of a veteran presence in addition to just, playing pretty well for their squad. So glad he's doing a lot better because I know he wasn't really any much better in Detroit, at least in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm glad he's doing so much better in Utah, but yeah, we'll see
For
what
sure.
happens.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. I'm not gonna pretend like I
You
know
definitely know
anything
who that
about
guy
Ole
is.
Mata. No, I
You know
recognize the name
everything
because
about
it
him.
stands out, but yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean, he got traded in October this year from the Red Wings. I think we just wanted to have some sort of cap space and roster spots for our young players. So just kind of got rid of him. I think he was on like a 2-year, $3 million total contract. So, wasn't really much of a player anyway. But, Utah seems to really like him. So I hope he does well.
For sure. And I mean, he is a veteran too. Like he's got some good
I think
experience
he's
in
like
there. So
31 or something, 30, 31.
yeah, so
So
probably also solid locker room
he
presence
was
to help.
drafted in, I think, 12 or 14, one of those. So definitely been around for a hot minute. So,
Yeah, yeah, faux show, faux show. Nice,
yeah.
man. You got some
Thanks,
more
dog.
news, or you want to switch on over to Red Wings and Stars?
Yeah, it looks like the Red Wings are playing pretty miserably.
Mm,
It's
nice.
pretty
That's
fun.
fantastic.
Great to hear. So we start off pretty slow against the Minnesota Wild and kind of expected us to play a lot better just because we played against a pretty hot Wild team, not what, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, something like that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we recently played them. We took an OT loss. So, I mean, I kind of expected us to just come out swinging. But we came out pretty slow. Ended up getting an easy goal by Marco Rossi on the power play. Um, Great puck movement by the Wild, coached very well. But, either way, that just a bad game overall. We did score a few times, but I can't remember. Let me just pull that up and see exactly what the score was. But I believe we lost by 2. Got an empty netter or something like that. because against, oh no, we actually won.
Nice, man. You got no
Jesus
idea what you're
Christ.
talking about.
I
right
remember
now.
it
That's
was the
fantastic.
Blue Jackets game on Thursday. That was horrible. I just thought it was,
That game, I did see that one, and
that
that
was
was a
horrible.
collapse, man. I don't know
Well, it
what
wasn't
happened.
Saturday, but did you watch it
The
on
Blue
Thursday?
Jackets game on Saturday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we played Thursday and then Saturday.
Oh, you played Thursday and Saturday. Okay, no, I was
Yeah, it
talking
was
about
like
the Saturday
basically
game.
back to back, but the
Okay.
Thursday game was horrible. I mean, much worse than the one on Saturday. We actually played decent up until that last stupid ass empty net position. But yeah, I mean, we played pretty well against the Wild. Got a win, looks like. But yeah, we played horrible
This dude
against the
has
Blue
no
Jackets. Really
idea.
dumb. Yeah, we ended up losing on Thursday 5-2. Got nothing going on for us. So I think we lost 5-3 in the next game just because of the empty netter. But I mean, like I mentioned, we played a lot better than we did on Thursday. DeBrincat did come out scoring fast, but we let 4 goals happen before we even scored our second. And I think that was all just in the first period. And we just got nothing going on until, we tried to, I think it was probably an empty net situation. Yeah.
Well, and
Marchenko ended it with that. But yeah, just horrible. And
yeah,
then Stadium Series wasn't, like I mentioned, too bad of a game. We ended up collapsing at the last minute, but I mean, we had it. We had it. We had it up until the last minute. It was 4-3, and then I think it was like 2 minutes left in the game. We pulled a goalie just because we need to score,
yeah,
and I don't know what the fuck they were doing because they just gave it away and they just let him score.
yeah, man. No, that was
Don't
real
know what
tough.
happened. Really bad. But yeah, I really hope we can turn around. Maybe get somebody coming in through trades. I did see something about like some sort of rumor chatter on Twitter, which is just speculation anyway. But they were saying something about having workouts with Detroit for a Sharks and Toronto game. So there was like some sort of speculation on either getting someone from the Leafs or someone from the Sharks, and it'd be interesting and could be possible to bring Jake Wallman back. Pretty solid defenseman, so wouldn't be too bad. But I know he's played a lot better in San Jose. I just don't know if we're gonna try to get him back for any reason. I mean, we kind of just let him walk, but.
Yeah, I
Either
mean,
way,
I
would
can
be
definitely
smart to
see.
get somebody on the defensive side for any reason. I know Andrew Kopp, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the season.
Mm,
I don't think I mentioned that from last game. I think it just happened that day. Just didn't really look at the news much. But yeah, I know he took a pretty hard hit because there was like some sort of scuffle against, I believe it was the Wild when we had that OT loss. And he tried to punch someone, and I think he actually did punch someone, and they retaliated, pushed him down. And he kind of fell awkwardly. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's out for the season now, so we definitely need some sort of number 2 center or somebody like that. So we definitely need guys on both ends, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, we just need probably a face-off winner or something like that, just because Andrew Kopp was pretty good at that, or at least decent. I mean,
yeah,
nothing to snuff at,
I
but
mean,
either way.
if y'all are able to bring back Wallman, that would definitely uplift that defense a bit. I think it'd be
Because I mean,
pretty.
I know Albert Johansson and Edvinson have been solid additions, but I mean, I think I might have mentioned it earlier on this podcast, but Justin Hall has been just useless, more or less. I mean, we just kind of need something to happen on the defensive side. Because I mean, Sherratt's pretty okay and Gustafson's pretty average, but I mean, Hall kind of just brings down any kind of line he's on. And I think I was talking to you on that Stadium Series. We let a pretty easy goal, and it was Justin Hall that kind of just accidentally
Oh
knocked it
yeah,
in anyway.
yeah. It was a tough
So it was
deflection. I
just
mean,
kind
there
of
wasn't
like dumb.
much he could really
Yeah,
do
it's not
there.
like all on him, but it just happens to be him, which is even worse.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. You mentioned
So,
the Maple Leafs. That one might be a little harder to pull a deal off, being that they're first in their
yeah, I
division.
mean, I don't
So
really understand that. I mean, I kind of figured it would have been the Sharks because they've just got really nothing as far as playoff contention or hopes in the near future.
hey,
But
just go
they
for
definitely want to build around Macklin Celebrini, so I'm assuming they'll probably try to get to good draft picks,
yeah,
stuff like that.
just go for Tage Thompson from Buffalo. They're pretty
Nah,
trash. Or
dog.
Paterka. I don't know their
Peter
contracts,
Ka.
but yeah, no. I mean, there's
Yeah,
some
who
bad
knows?
teams in the league you could poach off of for sure. I know.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players to watch. I don't really. I'd have to pull it up, but I mean, you know, there's a
yeah.
lot of people to look for.
As far as the Stars this last week, we played 3 games. Went ahead and played Columbus, played the Kings and the Blues, and we had a similar result to your result against Columbus because we went ahead and lost that one as well. I told you
They're
beforehand
not a bad team.
no,
We
they're
just
not
we
bad at
just should
all.
have won our bout against them. But
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I was telling you about the defensive deficiencies of the Stars, being that Bishop was in concussion protocol. I don't believe he's made it back
Classic.
yet, but he was definitely out that
Concussed
game.
ass.
I think last week I accidentally said Labushkin was out for the season when I meant Niels Lundqvist, so I misspoke there.
It's the same player.
But it's another defensive player that's missing. But yeah, so we
It's
go
the
ahead
same
and play
guy.
Columbus. They go up 2-0 on us, which
That's
was
his nickname, dude.
yeah, man. But I will say, so the game ends up finishing 6-4. The Blue Jackets were up 4-1 at one point. The Stars fight back, make it a close game. The last goal being with like 2 minutes left for us, and then they empty net to kind of put it away. The issue was just that so many goals had gone. I mean, you're trying to overcome a 4-1 deficit. It's extremely tough, no matter the talent on the offensive side, and the talent is
Yeah,
there, man. Like Rope,
that's what happened to us on Thursday.
yeah, like Rope, Hintz, and Robertson have played spectacular together these last few games, and that goes for when we played the Kings, and then we went ahead and played the Blues, and Wyatt Johnson too. Like offensively, man, we are star studded. The issue is just the defensive side. So yeah, we end up losing that game to the Blue Jackets. We play the Kings and we beat the hell out of them. Like absolutely dog walked them. That game finished 6-2. In that game, again, I mentioned Rope and Robertson. They made a few plays together. There was a power play goal that Duchesne had that came from assists from Rope and Robertson. The way that we are passing the puck around is a sight to be seen, especially on that power play. I remember at the beginning
Wow,
of the
dude.
season, absolutely trashing the power play. It was disgusting. We were one of the worst in the league. Since New Year's, your team and my team, I've been 1-2, I believe, on power play conversion. And so to see that quick turnaround, and it was a slow start. Robertson had a real slow start to the season. I believe he was either coming back from injury or something was going on, so his training camp or whatever was shortened. But now he's finally finding his rhythm. The chemistry between our players, the passing is just so crisp, and there's so many lethal players. We go to in that game. I think it was the Kings game where Stankoven was this the one where Stanky got his goals? Yes, it was. We moved into the first line, and this was after he's been on a goalless drought. He's had, and then he was sat. He was a healthy scratch, but we move him up to the first line. He has
Classic.
2 goals, man. Just hovering around the front of the net for whatever reason. He's the
From
smallest guy
healthy
there.
scratch to first line, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so, but I don't know how much of that was rest. I don't know if it was rest because he wasn't in the Four Nations. But anyway, maybe it was a motivator or based on the matchup. All right, we're going with a
He's
bigger
probably just
lineup.
depressed.
He could have been sad. No, but he has 2 goals, fighting right in front of the net. And he's the smallest guy, man. I'm surprised. Like either the defenders just didn't see him, they don't know where he is, or I mean, he's just that guy. But It'll hit that goalie's front pad. He hits a little scooty whoop with the stick, gets around that pad and scores, and he did it twice. So I mean, good for him. So on the offensive end of the ice, and yeah, we played the Blues as well. We won that one 6-3. There were points in the game where the Blues were making it competitive for sure.
Jim Montgomery revenge game.
Oh, well, there was no revenge on his side of the ice, but Wyatt Johnson did have a hat trick, which was really nice to see. But yeah, offensively, man.
Was it nice to see?
It was. Offensively, we're really getting it going. Defensively, we're allowing a fair amount of goals, so that needs to be fixed a bit. But no, it's we're talking about the trade deadline, and I would like a defender.
Could be Ottinger. You need to get rid of him.
No. As far as like bringing a player in, I would love a defender to be brought in. The issue is kind of we've given up a lot. I believe we gave up a first-round pick last year for Tanev. I know we gave up, was it a first and a third for Granlund and Cece or something along those lines?
I thought it was the first, yeah.
Yeah.
For this past trade.
And there was some talk that, okay, well, if we're going to move someone, it would likely be Stankoven or another young player, blanking right now. But I know Stankoven's for sure one of the prospects that teams are looking at. And he seems to be kind of untradeable for Jim Nill. I don't blame him. I mean, he's got a bright future for sure. So the capital that we're willing to give up is not great. So if we do bring someone in at the deadline this Friday, I think it'll be a journeyman, veteran type player, 1-year contract that they're on that we kind of get at a bargain. I don't think we're going to be competing for the best available defenseman like we did last year with Tanev. But the addition of Cece earlier this year is a big help. Bringing in Granlund, big help. So honestly, man, offensively, we're stacked. I'm not worried about bringing anyone in on that side of the ice. It would be a defenseman, but if you're expecting Heiskanen back and you don't want to give up too much capital, then we could possibly do nothing. So I don't expect too much or big fireworks this trade deadline for the Stars.
Nice, Tom.
Yeah, man. Keaton, we make picks on games. Last week, you went 7-5. I went 6-6. So you got another game on me, which sucks. But we have hella games. Right. We got hella games to go through today where I can make that nice comeback. We're going to go ahead and start it off with the Predators traveling to Boston to take on the Bruins. Boston is -1.5. Who do you got there?
I'm gonna roll with the Predators in this one for whatever reason. I don't expect them to win, but or at least keep it close.
All right, I'm going Boston. I don't believe in the Preds for shit, so gotta pass. The Sharks are taking on the Sabres.
They've won some games.
Yeah.
They got 21 on the season.
That's true. Sharks are taking on the Sabres in Buffalo. Spreading that one is Buffalo -1.5. Who are you taking?
Did you hear me when I said they got 21 wins?
I did hear you. Oh, my God.
I'm gonna roll with the Sharks in this one. Fuck the Sabres.
All right, fair enough. I too will agree with you. Fuck the Sabres. We're going San Jose on the road +1.5. Moving along, we got the Hurricanes. They'll be traveling to Detroit to take on the Red Wings. Spreading that one, Detroit +1.5. Who are you taking there?
I'm going to roll with Detroit and hopefully not get burned. I didn't get burned last time because we won, like I forgot. But this time I think we're going to come out swinging. I think we're going to take those 2 losses, to heart, hopefully at least, and just at least take an OT loss or something like that. But, yeah, expect to get a point out of this game at least.
Yeah, well, I hate to kick you while you're down, but I'm going to do it, and I'm taking the Hurricanes.
You were wrong last week, so...
I've been wrong 64 times this year, so it's definitely possible.
Pretty
bad. The Columbus Blue Jackets are traveling to Tampa, taking on the Lightning, spreading that one, Lightning, -1.5. Who do you got there?
I'm going to take the Blue Jackets in this one. I think they're going to give the Lightning a game to worry about. And they
Yeah,
recently lost and ended their 8-game winning streak, so I think the Lightning take another loss.
I mean, the Blue Jackets are playing really well. I do expect the Lightning to put up a better defensive effort than both of our teams did. And so, yeah, at home, I'll take Lightning -1.5 there. Moving on.
Nice time.
We got the Flames and the Flyers taking place in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is -1.5. Who are you taking there?
That's incredible. Are you serious?
Yeah, Flyers -1.5.
I'm taking the Flames, dude. The Flyers are just, yeesh.
Yeah, clean sweep.
Yeesh.
There. I too will go Flames +1.5.
That doesn't make any sense. That spread is ridiculous.
It does not.
That's like free money, dude.
I mean, take it. Winnipeg is traveling to New York to take on the Islanders. Islanders are +1.5 at home. Who are you taking there?
I think I'm gonna have to roll with the Jets in this one.
Yeah.
The Islanders are pretty dumpster fire.
Yeah, clean sweep there.
Again.
I'm also taking the Jets. The Devils and the Stars are playing tonight in Dallas. Dallas is -1.5. Who are you taking there?
Unfortunately, taking the Stars. The Devils lost Jack Hughes for at least this game, so they're definitely not going to play as best as they can.
Yeah,
so,
give me the hometown Dallas Stars. Moving on, we got the Penguins and the Avalanche. This one taking place in Colorado.
You probably think the Penguins going to win.
Colorado is a -1.5. Who are you taking there?
I'm taking the Avs because they're not ass like the Penguins.
Yeah, clean sweep for the Avs right there. Moving on, we got the Ducks and the Oilers. Spread in that one is the hometown Oilers -1.5 there. Who you got?
I'm going to shake things up and take the Ducks in this one. I think they're going to take the Edmonton Oilers by surprise.
Wow. Okay. I don't believe that. I'll be going with the Oilers -1.5.
You hate the Ducks, dude. They're not that bad.
I'm just taking Edmonton, man. I don't know what you want. All right.
This guy.
Minnesota is
doesn't
taking
believe
on
in the Ducks.
That's correct.
You remember that one movie about the Ducks winning that one thing? They're pretty good, dog.
All right. Minnesota is traveling to Seattle to take on the Kraken. It's -1.5 to the Kraken, which I don't understand that at all. That's got to be a typo.
Yeah.
Kraken -1.5.
I think I'm going to roll with the Wild. I think it's like one of those things where like not enough bets have been placed. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen because before, remember when, you probably don't remember it all, but we were like doing some sort of picks and I thought the Golden Knights had the plus, but they had the minus at that time.
Yep.
And we checked the same source. So yeah, odds are subject to change, my friends.
They always are. I'm going Wild +1.5 there, so that's a clean sweep.
Nice, dude.
Now, we always do some prize picks too, Keaton. Last week, I don't remember actually how I did last week. I'm kind of blanking and forgot to look it up. But I'm sure I hit.
I will tell you about mine. Mo Sider definitely covered his, but Steven Stamkos is a bitch, dude. That guy could not get a fucking hit. He needed one hit. And he played 60 minutes without one. Pretty awful stuff out of that guy.
That is horrendous.
Definitely would have stolen my money. But yeah, I mean, thought I had a chance there.
And who are you taking this week?
This week it's going to be a lot better because I've got someone better than Stamkos taking the hits. We've got Olivier. I forgot his first name. I think it's William, right?
I think it's Matthew.
No, it's Matthew. You're right. It's Matthew, maybe. Yeah, French guy. But yeah, either way, he's going to have more than 3.5 hits. And we're going to go with Old Reliable with Mo Sider having more than 24.5 time on ice. Hopefully they don't go to overtime, and Prize Picks just erases all of that time from OT. But yeah, we'll take it. He's going to play a hell of a game, and we're going to have a great time.
He's going to play a hell of a game.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so last week...
He's going to play so long.
Nice. Last week I took your boy Larkin.
Too many minutes.
Paired him with Thomas. Larkin face-off wins. Thomas face-off wins. Larkin shot the bed and did not cover. So
he did.
Yeah,
he has not played very well since the Four Nations face-off.
No, he's pretty much getting banned right now.
Wonder if they're like sitting him or like telling him, "Hey, dog, don't worry about these next few games, dog."
Yeah,
but hey,
I was looking at potentially taking the under on his time
great.
on ice, but it wasn't too high. But anyway, I vetoed it all.
He's been playing a lot. It's just, he hasn't been doing anything on the ice.
For sure. This week...
Which is kind of disappointing.
Goddamn, dude. You had your time to talk about the Red Wings. Yes, this is money right here. I'm going with Nico Heischer.
I don't think it is.
Over 13
Nico
and a half.
Harrison.
Dog, I'm going to mute you. You're done. I'm muting you. Nico Heischer, over 13 and a half face-off wins.
This year.
When he played the Stars, I think he had did he have 18 against us? I had it right here.
18 what?
Face-off wins? Yeah. February 22nd. The man had 18 face-off wins.
He probably had 18 shots on goal.
Yep. That's what I said. So, yeah, going over 13 and a half there should easily cover that.
He's probably going to do
easily. Is a little rough, but he should cover. Kyle Connor, over 20 and a half time on ice. Is a little steep, but he should be able to cover that. I do kind of
25.25?
20.5. 20.5.
Oh. I thought when you sent it, it was 22.5.
Nope, it is 20.5. But yeah, so
that's, cool,
that's money right there. Them's gonna hit.
Nice, dog.
Keaton, you wanted to ramble the entire time I was talking. I'm sure you have something else to say before we close this podcast.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you didn't have any more on Dylan Larkin or the rotation of the Red Wings?
Oh, the Red Wings are pretty good this year. We're probably going to make the playoffs.
Nice. Well, all right. That's going to go ahead and do it for us today. Y'all take it easy. Peace.